State lawmakers have until tonight to pass a final version of a bill that would make it a felony to possess a gram or more of drugs with fentanyl in them. Last night, the House rejected the Senate's version of that bill, which did away with wording that requires people to know that their drugs had fentanyl in it. Now a conference committee, members of both the House and the Senate, will be formed. They'll try and sort out the amendments, iron out the differences. If the conference committee reaches an agreement, a version of the bill will go to both the House and the Senate for approval later today.
The number of people trying to find affordable housing in Colorado is growing. A state hotline that works to help people find something in their budget is getting more calls than ever. Jordan Chavez is following this for us. And Jordan, even the folks at this hotline are having a hard time finding an option that works for some people.
Yeah, you know, Corey, and the interesting thing about all of this is when the Colorado Housing Connects hotline was actually created back in 2014, it was because the housing market then was becoming more difficult to survive. Well, you fast forward 8 years, and I'm not sure they ever could have even guessed that it would be this difficult like what we're experiencing now. Currently, they are fielding about 1,100 calls per week. And as you probably figured, most of these calls are about affordable housing. Now, the program director actually says that is their second biggest type of call. This hotline was actually set up for a variety of questions. So think how to avoid eviction. But now it is mostly about finding a home in the first place. And aside from the hotline, Colorado Housing Connects also offers first-time buyer classes. But the program director actually says fewer people are attending. And it's often because not only is the cost of homes going up, but so are those interest rates.
More and more, we're seeing two-income households calling in, looking for an affordable option. They're doing everything they can to keep up with these rising rents, but they're just not able to do so. We do hear from a number of single individuals, potentially seniors, people with disabilities looking for resources too.
So Patrick Noonan, who you just heard from, says one of the best options for people with very little income is that subsidized housing. But the wait list to move in can be years long, even for that. So Noonan actually suggests planning on getting your name on as many wait lists as possible. But while you wait, one idea, he says, is to consider home sharing, where you rent a room in someone's home until that subsidized housing becomes available, Corey.
It's true. Everything is like stacked against anyone trying to find a home right now. There's just the inflation rates, the cost of homes, the low inventory. It's crazy.
And on top of that, we have these rising gas prices that people are having to pay for too. You're right. It's one thing after another. And now we're all having to plan our lives just to survive, Corey.
Right. It just makes me feel for anyone that's in that situation right now. Jordan, thank you. We're going to keep talking about affordable housing in our 6:30 half hour. Matt Renew will join us to tell us what the Winter Park ski area is doing to help their workers have an affordable place to stay.
Today, a boat ramp at the Cherry Creek Reservoir will be closed again while rescuers look for a man who went missing there Saturday night. Firefighters and wildlife officers were out there searching again yesterday morning. South Metro says crews expanded the search area, working grid formats. Parks and Wildlife says the man was tubing without a life jacket when he went missing.
RTD says it has made more plans than it can afford to accomplish. Even before the pandemic, they did that. Now they have to take another look at what they can and can't pay for going forward. The RTD board met yesterday, says it really can't afford to expand bus and rail service right now. It also can't finish any piece of the promised Fast Tracks program within the next 20 years. RTD says they hope to have a full system plan, though, in place by late July. As far as what they can get accomplished, well, they're planning on new ticketing and a new pricing system. The agency will move away from the My Ride card this summer or fall. They're going to hook up all systems to credit cards instead, like they do on their app.
Adams 14 School District is about to go through some major changes. The State Board of Education voted to take away the district's accreditation and force it to reorganize. Adams 14 has been fighting with private contractors brought in to help the struggling district. The board decided that wasn't working and voted for reorganization instead. That could mean consolidating with another district entirely, having other districts absorb individual schools, or dissolving Adams 14 completely. The entire process is expected to take more than a year.
If you're near CU Boulder today, you might hear some gunshots from Folsom Field. It's all for a training. Campus police are hosting a crisis response and sniper teams training today through Friday. They'll be firing live rounds of ammo into specialized steel traps. The rifles will have suppressors, but you're still going to hear that gunfire. The training includes a nighttime exercise on Friday.
7 minutes after 6 right now. Today, U.S. Senate Democrats will try to pass a federal law guaranteeing a right to an abortion. It is expected to fail, but as NBC's Chris Pallone explains, Democrats know most people in America favor abortion rights, and this will show where each senator stands right before the midterm elections.
Thank you. Okay.
Congressional Democrats with a warning ahead of today's planned vote on the Women's Health Protection Act.
We are going to remember everyone who votes against the right to an abortion. And this November, we'll use our voices and our votes. We're not going to let anyone forget.
Abortion is right.
The bill would prohibit states from placing restrictions on access to abortion, a response to that leaked Supreme Court opinion indicating the High Court is likely to strike down Roe versus Wade. But today's vote will be largely symbolic. Democrats don't have the 60 votes needed to break a Republican filibuster.
If the MAGA Republicans get their way, young girls will grow up in a world where if they become pregnant because of rape, they will have no choice but to carry their rapist's child. Can you imagine?
I think the widespread sentiment of my conference is that this issue will be dealt with at the state level.
In some places, it already is.
We're doing everything we can to stand up on behalf of the reproductive rights of all of our citizens.
Connecticut, the latest state to pass an abortion-related law protecting providers from being sued or criminally charged by another state. Legislatures in nearly half the country have passed laws this year either to restrict access to abortion or to expand it, with an eye on the Supreme Court and its final ruling likely to come late next month. Chris Pallone, NBC News, Washington.
And here's one thing you want to know about the weather. How about your weekend? 80 degrees on Saturday, simply fair and warm. We stay dry on Sunday, a few degrees warmer. How about 83?